Welcome back to the Jacksonville Buzz. I'm Steve Strum. Today we have Pete Langlois.
That's it.
I got it. This interview is over at Ascendo Resources.
That's right.
Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, glad to be here.
You know, we were talking a little bit offset. First and foremost, thank you to your service to our great country, because I grew up in a military family. You're a Navy guy, and now you are helping people become people to help better themselves. Who are you? Tell us about how you went from wearing a basic duty uniform to a tracksuit.
Well, first off, you're welcome. When people thank me, I make sure I say you're welcome. I spent 7 years in the world's greatest Navy. I was a jet engine mechanic on board the USS Saratoga. I crossed Gaddafi's line of death in the Gulf of Sidra back in 1986, and I'm very, very proud of my service. I work for Ascendo Resources. I'm a partner and a business owner. And we are a full-service staffing agency, and we place accounting and finance, information technology, and general office, administrative, clerical types of folks on a contract, temporary, temp to perm, or direct hire basis.
Okay, for the folks that are listening to that, so we have a crisis in the United States right now, interestingly enough, of overemployment. So a lot of people go, well, wait a minute, whoa. Having too many jobs is bad? Well, it is to a point. But it also increases, so I'm a business owner. I know we were talking a little bit about I'm in the industry by which would use you to help me find people.
Sure.
So when we have such a competitive marketplace right now, where you have 10,000 people a day turning 65 for the next 5 or 6 years, you've got not a whole lot of people in our age bracket just because birth rates were down because of economic conditions in the 60s and 70s, and now you got this giant wave of people coming behind us in the millennial population that may not have that work experience.
Right.
How do you help a business owner like myself or other folks to be able to find that qualified candidate? I might even be looking for them. I might not even know I need them.
Right.
And I may be picking out of a pool that may not want me to know that I'm fishing in their pond.
Right.
How do you help a business owner to be able to provide those solutions?
Yeah, it's a great question. What we do is have that upfront conversation and say, Scott, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for, why you're looking for that. And we help through demographic information that we have. We can help let you know exactly what the salary should be, versus what you have been paying, because it's not, 2022 or 2023 anymore. So we have very up-to-date and current information, but we can find and fill positions that other people are struggling with. And even though there seems to be a surplus of workers, most hiring managers right now are struggling to find that really qualified candidate that fits within their corporate culture. And it's not an ancillary part of my job. What I do day in and day out is recruit, talk to people, so that when great companies like yours are looking for talent, you talk to me and I make sure I find exactly what you need.
Well, and there's a couple things you've mentioned. One, yes, I in the financial services industry, I am lights out in what I do.
Yeah.
HR, I have a background in HR. I'm qualified in HR. I just don't have the time to be able to do the training. So oftentimes somebody will go hire somebody, not train them, and then they have to let them go for not doing the job that they never had the opportunity to learn to begin with.
Right.
Where you fill in that, obviously, it's your business, so there's a cost for me to do that. But it's not so much a cost that I'm paying you, it's a cost that you're saving me from the expense of onboarding 3, 4, 5 people at the average cost of what, 5, 10 grand to bring somebody on these days?
Very
expensive. What's the cost to bring somebody on, get them trained up and all this stuff? I mean, it's got to be 5, 10 grand.
It is, it's
of
very
internal
expensive.
soft cost, I get
Sure.
it. Writing you a check is different. But you're going to help me, or people like me, find that person, make sure that they're qualified, that they fit my culture, my psychographic demographics, and then also licensures and all that stuff. But your role is also to help me be successful in retaining that person.
Right. And it's a good example, and you brought it up right up front. You're a specialist in what you do. You're the best because that's what you do day in and day out all day.
I appreciate the best. I'm just trying, I do appreciate that. But no, I work really hard, and I've been doing it for a long time. And yeah, I'm like lights in, lights out focused on that stuff.
Right.
But the HR stuff, I can do it. I just don't have time.
Well, exactly. I swim in a very narrow lane, and I become an expert at it. And just like my team, I have teams that only place accounting and finance, and they become experts at that. I have teams that only place information technology, so they're experts, not generalists, and that's what sets us apart.
And your background, and as we take it away, you just didn't go to Navy to do recruiting. You have run businesses. Yeah. You have owned businesses.
I have.
You have been C-level executive on businesses. You've had a storied career, which we could probably go on forever about. But it's not just a guy that just showed up and said, you know what, I think I'm going to start recruiting. You know what I need probably better than what I know I need. Because I know I come to a person that I need help, and I'm in a crisis. I'm like, I have an asset that quit, got fired, died, moved out of the area, whatever that is. And I have a tight labor market, and through my mind, I'm going through how much is this going to cost me?
Right.
How much am I going to overpay for potentially an unqualified candidate that might interview really good, and I get all excited and fall in love with the curriculum vitae. Turn out that they don't know how to actually do the stuff, but they learned about it in college. And as my father, who was a medic in the Army, would say, there is a difference between talking a good job and doing a good job.
Right.
And you help me understand who can do a good job, so when I get to talk to them and I get to fall in love with them, then you're like, hey, you know what? Not only do they fit that profile, but they got the goods to back it up.
You know, that's exactly what we do. You know, when we see a great resume, some people are what we call paper tigers.
Oh, yeah.
Look great on paper, and they can answer questions well during an interview, but we validate their work history, and we make sure they can deliver for you. We also help companies sometimes that if they're just in a peak season and need temporary help, we supply temporaries, and sometimes large volumes of temporaries. Let's say it's open enrollment, and companies...
It's just right to happen.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Sure.
So we can supply anything from 10, 20 to 40 or 50 temps for a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month period, and sometimes we even do vacation coverage for the receptionist. Someone's gone for a week, and we'll put somebody in. So
that is fabulous. Well, Pete the Job Guy, thanks so much for joining us on the show
So glad
today.
to be here.
What we'll do is we'll make sure to put your stuff right here on the Daily News Network, so that way people can connect with you. Very cool to hear your story.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see how you've evolved your career pathway to be able to help people like myself, who just don't, they know they need to do it, they just don't know how to do it. And you're like, hey, by the way, we'll get it done and it won't be painful. Oh, and by the way, it'll actually cost you less.
Very good. Thank you for having me. Yes.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Jacksonville Buzz. If you like us, share us. And remember, live with gratitude.